amazing. An infinity pool beach dining, the whole thing? I smiled. Sounds beautiful. Hope you're taking pictures. Oh, of course, she laughed. Anyway, how are you holding up? You're not cooking complicated meals, are you? Remember what I said? Keep things simple. I'm doing just fine, I said, glancing at the stack of property documents. Actually, I've been pretty busy. Busy? With what, she asked, curious. Can't spoil the surprise, I said calmly. Let's just say I've been handling important business. Dad, you're retired. She laughed, then trailed off, realizing how it sounded. I didn't respond right away. Let the silence carry weight. I've got everything under control, I finally said. After we hung up, I sat in the dim light of the living room, the warm glow from the kitchen spilling softly across the floor. I looked around the house again. Lauren had said they were preparing a little surprise for me when they got back. I knew what that meant, an assisted living facility with professional care and social activities with people my own age. What they didn't know was I had a surprise of my own. And piece by piece, the plan was falling perfectly into place. If you're still watching, comment 1, so I know you're still with me. Part 3. The Real Buyer. The next morning came with the promise of change. At exactly 9:00 a.m., my phone rang. Zachary, as punctual as ever. Mr. Parker, he said, James Clark is ready to make an offer. I sat down at the breakfast table, steaming coffee in one hand, steady breath in the other. He's offering a full cash purchase. No inspection contingencies. The only catch, he wants a $60,000 discount. I didn't answer right away. $60,000. Nearly the exact amount I'd spent over 5 years paying for Lauren's bills, Bradley's business failures, family vacations. I wasn't invited to attend. Tuition, repairs, groceries, all of it covered with my retirement savings. Was it worth losing that kind of money just to teach them a lesson? Zachary stayed quiet on the line. I understand if that gives you pause, he said carefully. We can wait for other offers, though, that may push the timeline past their return. Their return. Just the thought of Lauren walking back through my front door as if nothing had changed was enough to answer for me. I'll take the offer, I said. Are you sure I'm ready to let go? Of the house, of the past, of them. James Clark's team moved fast. Within hours, legal documents were drafted. The closing date was set for Monday morning, 5 days before Lauren and Bradley's return flight from Hawaii. Everything was lining up. That night, I lay in bed not with guilt, but with calm clarity. Sarah would have understood. She always knew when I was being taken advantage of, even if she never said it out loud. She believed in quiet strength. Now, I was finally showing it. On Thursday, I began the most satisfying task of my retirement, clearing the house. Not mine. Theirs. Lauren's room was first. The closets full of handbags and designer coats, makeup trays, and unopened gift boxes. I packed each item with care, labeling the boxes by room. I even placed her favorite earrings in a velvet pouch, the ones I'd given her for her 35th birthday. Then came Bradley's office. Stacks of cryptocurrency books, unopened tax notices, expensive electronics gathering dust. I boxed them all, including the unopened box of business cards that read, Bradley Hayes, founder and CEO, a company that had never launched. Walter and Margaret's room was last. Toys, storybooks, tiny backpacks from preschool. I took extra time here. None of this was their fault. If I could have taken them with me, I might have. Everything went to the storage facility I'd arranged 6 months prepaid. Rosa, the manager, gave me a sympathetic smile as she handed over the keys. Moving out, she asked. Something like that, I replied. On Friday afternoon, Zachary returned with the final set of papers. You're about to sign away the house you've lived in for over 30 years, he said, placing the folder on the kitchen table. You sure you're ready? I haven't been this sure of anything since I proposed to my wife. He smiled, not pushing further. The paperwork took an hour. deed transfer, financial disclosures, closing statements. When I was done, Zachary shook my hand and said, "They won't know what hit them." I gave a small nod. They already don't. On Saturday, I moved into a small one-bedroom apartment 5 blocks away. Modest, quiet, enough space for a man who was learning to live for himself again. I kept only what mattered: photos of Sarah, my teaching certificates, a few well-loved books. My phone buzzed. Unknown number. Hawaii area code. I knew who it was. Dad Lauren's voice was cheerful, soaked in sunshine. "We just got the kids out of the pool. Bradley booked us another helicopter tour. Can you believe it?" "That sounds amazing," I said. "You should see this place. I almost feel guilty leaving you home alone." "Don't," I replied. "I'm exactly where I need to be." She laughed, distracted. "Anyway, we've been talking. We might extend the trip a few days. Flights are flexible and, well, everything here's just perfect." "Take all the time you need," I said, the irony delicious. She paused. "Are you really doing okay?" I looked around my new apartment, modest but peaceful. "I'm doing better than okay." That evening, I sat on my small patio sipping tea as the sun set behind the buildings. Somewhere, my daughter was enjoying a luxury dinner, convinced her plans for me were safely in motion. What she didn't know was that by the time she came home, her inheritance would be gone, her possessions boxed, her advantage erased. She had planned to surprise me with a care facility. But I had already surprised her with something far more powerful: freedom. And as I watched the sky turn from orange to midnight blue, I knew the real show was just getting started. Part 4. The Collapse. Monday morning arrived with the finality of a gavel strike. I dressed in the same collared shirt Sarah used to say brought out the blue in my eyes. It felt right, like armor for the day ahead. Zachary picked me up at 8:45 sharp. We drove in calm silence to the notary's office, where James Clark and his attorney were already waiting. Linda, the notary, greeted us with practiced efficiency, her desk lined with stacks of papers and a neatly arranged stamp set. "This will take about 30 minutes, she said. "Then, Mr. Parker, the house is no longer yours." I gave a quiet nod. The pen in my hand felt heavier than I expected. Not because of the ink, but because of the memories. The house I was about to sign away had been my whole world for over 30 years. The place Sarah and I brought our newborn home to. The place where we carved pumpkins in the fall, shoveled snow from the driveway, hung ornaments each Christmas. The place I became invisible in once my daughter moved back in. Now, I was setting it free. Or maybe freeing myself. My signature flowed in the same careful cursive I once used to write parent notes and grade homework. I finished the last page, and Linda pressed the notary seal onto the document with a satisfying click. "It's done," she announced. James Clark reached across the table. "Congratulations, Mr. Parker. Welcome to the next chapter." I shook his hand, firm and steady. Back at the house, I had exactly 30 minutes to gather anything I'd left behind. But the rooms were already empty, every echo a reminder that the past had finally been packed away. I took only 3 things with me: Sarah's framed photograph, my teaching certificate, and the small brass key to the storage unit holding what my daughter once called our legacy. I paused one last time in the foyer. It was here 5 years ago that I'd welcomed Lauren and her family with open arms, offering them shelter, support, and the best years of my retirement. They repaid me with betrayal, entitlement, and secret plans to ship me off. As I locked the front door for the last time, my phone buzzed. Unknown number. Hawaiian area code. I didn't answer. Instead, I walked to the driveway where James and Zachary waited. "Transfer complete," I said, placing the keys into James's hand. And with that, I drove away. No tears, no regrets, just the quiet satisfaction of a man who had finally stopped asking for permission. Back in my apartment, I brewed a fresh pot of coffee. The peace was startling. I no longer had to listen to Margaret's tablet blaring cartoons at 600 a.m. No more Bradley pacing the hall, yelling at crypto investors. No more Lauren standing in the kitchen, criticizing the groceries I bought with my own money. Just quiet. And control. The phone buzzed again. Voicemail. Lauren's voice trembled. "Dad, we just got back. There are strangers in the house. They said they bought it. Please call me." "This isn't funny," I smiled softly, sipping my coffee. 10 minutes later, another voicemail. This time, Bradley. "What the hell did you do? David, you sold the house? Are you out of your mind? We're calling a lawyer." I set the phone down, not to silence the noise, but to enjoy it. Because every missed call was confirmation that I'd succeeded. They had assumed I was weak. They never imagined I could outthink them. Elizabeth, my old neighbor, texted a photo later that afternoon. It showed Lauren standing in front of 847 Maple Street, confused, furious, talking to a young couple holding a lease. Behind her, Walter clung to her leg, and Margaret sat on a suitcase, crying. "They looked completely lost," Elizabeth wrote. I gave Lauren the address to the storage unit. "Just like you asked." Good. Let them see what real independence looks like. Let them see what happens when a man they dismissed as a burden finally chooses to stop carrying everyone else. That night, I treated myself to steak and a glass of Cabernet. A modest celebration. No balloons, no guests, just me, a dinner table, and peace. The phone buzzed again. "Lauren, please, Dad, we don't know where to go. We're sorry. Bradley, call us. We'll figure something out. Just talk to us." I turned off the phone. They hadn't wanted to talk when I needed them. Now they could wait. Some lessons had to be learned the hard way. Part 5. Independence Day. I never thought I'd celebrate Independence Day in September. But there I was, seated on a balcony overlooking Maui's golden shoreline, sipping hotel-brewed coffee that somehow tasted better than anything I'd had in years. Freedom, it turns out, has a flavor. A sharp, satisfying taste that lingers long after the first sip. The room was quiet save for the rustling of palm trees and the gentle crash of waves against the sand. No children screaming about screen time. No entitled son-in-law pacing with get-rich-quick schemes. No daughter reminding me of all the things I could no longer do. Just peace. And 52 missed calls on my phone. Lauren, Bradley, Margaret, Walter. All of them desperately trying to dial back time. But time doesn't reverse. It teaches. I scrolled through the voicemails again, not to torture myself, but to remind myself why I had done what I did. Why I had walked away. "Dad, please call us back. We didn't know how this would hurt you. David, you can't just throw your family away over a misunderstanding, Grandpa. Mommy's crying a lot. Where are you?" That last one stung. Walter, 8 years old, still innocent in all this. But innocence doesn't erase responsibility, not theirs, and not mine. I spent the morning walking the beach, watching honeymooners and retirees stroll hand in hand. Some smiled at me, probably assuming I was another snowbird, spending my pension wisely. If only they knew the truth that I was here, not because I'd won the lottery, but because I'd finally cashed in my self-respect. That night, I had dinner on the terrace. Grilled Fish Island vegetables and a glass of Pinot. The same resort Lauren had once said was too extravagant for someone my age. I smiled at the thought. Extravagance, it turned out, wasn't about money. It was about doing something solely for yourself. As I watched the sun sink into the Pacific, my phone buzzed once again. This time I answered. Dad, Lauren's voice cracked like glass under strain. "I'm here." A pause. The sound of a breath being held.